Teacher reflection. How do teachers grow in their craft? What makes a great teacher? Daily choices, handling situations, accommodations, and accountability. When we think about teacher growing in their craft, we have to take into consideration the role of responsibility a teacher takes. A great teacher is responsible for making beneficial daily choices to better serve their students. They are responsible for how they handle certain situations, make important decisions. No teacher is perfect, but they are accountable for their actions. I think focusing on these specifics will greatly help a teacher, as well as the rest of their team members in the school. Daily choices. Organized classroom. A teacher's classroom is their empire. Everything must run smooth and effectively. Having an organized classroom can lessen distraction of students. Feng Shui is a real thing. Placement of furniture, specific activity station, and labeled materials gives the class a sense of order and structure. This would take care of classroom management. For this to be effective, a good teacher would use rules, having them visibly printed in the classroom as a reminder. Procedures, if the rules are not followed, and routines to ensure that the students are actively engaged. With classroom management, you also have a better grasp on student behavior. This is not just rules and consequences. In a structural environment, we can expect that students will know what their daily duties are, along with holding higher expectations. Having a good curriculum is also part of a teacher's choice. With this structure, we can conclude that teachers are able to provide, through the curriculum, ways to appeal to a broad range of students, specific learning styles, and harness their creativity and personalities. Teachers are able to adapt and modify each lesson to specific and real-life situations. To interpret is to observe a student. To make inferences about the student is about what the student is doing, and sometimes to make second-level inferences about the cause of the observed behavior. Interpretation is often distinguished from evaluation in that the former refers to the value-free determination of what a student is doing, and the later to a judgment about whether the behavior is good or bad, appropriate or inappropriate, desirable or undesirable. Student participation. This is important to and for students. This concept is called flipped classroom. More or less, students are made to feel like they are in charge. This includes class rules and materials learned. You can give them choices and let them choose from those choices. Handling situations. Bullying. Teachers should stay committed. A teacher's job is obviously to educate students. But there is much more that comes with that title. A good teacher should consider their limits. Are they willing to do whatever it takes? Where do you stand with the school policy on bullying? Parents. Everybody knows this is a dreaded subject. I fear this as a teacher myself. My fear is that I realize that some parents may use the school system as a babysitter. They do not invest the time in their child once they come home. And then that student comes to school and lashes out. Is this our bully? I see more parents today seem to think that it's the teacher's fault when their child doesn't understand the material. But is it? With great power comes great responsibility, and some parents seem to think that they have the upper hand. Are you as a teacher willing to let the parents know just exactly what's going on with their child? Are they misbehaving? Are they doing the work given to them? No parent likes to be told what they're doing wrong. Tread lightly. Misbehavior. Another teacher favorite. The best way to handle this would to be establish roles. A teacher is a leader, and the adult. Respect is required. If a student is misbehaving, direct them to follow the rules. If a second disturbance is happening, try adjusting their surroundings. Move their seats. Take away what is distracting them from class. Maybe even give them a schedule and use it as a written contract. Dangerous situations. This is a teacher's nightmare. The school should have emergency action plan located at a neutral location. Most are located by the light switch or front door. Knowing the numbers to emergency contacts are important and should be included. Take into consideration this may be for a fire, tornado, flooding, and praying that it never happens, a shooting. It's not a bad idea to go over proper procedures for each scenario as a teacher. Being prepared for any situation and knowing that your students are also prepared can help. Accommodation. With disabilities, we talk about learning styles. We know that accommodations change how a student learns. Each child learns differently than the one sitting next to them. Having to accommodate or modify a lesson or activity can be simple, and a good teacher should always have 2 to 3 extra ways to do so. How to give instructions is a big deal. If a child is a visual learner, demonstrate it. If they are an auditorial learner, then let them listen to the instructions and repeat them. Kinesthetic learners should go over the process with you. Timing and scheduling. Time limits and breaks are important. This presents a challenge, but also a reward to look forward to once the task is completed. A good teacher should take into consideration the class environment. Going back to the classroom setting, if a child is comfortable in a certain room, don't move them. As always, give positive constructive feedback. Giving positive constructive feedback is necessary to see a student grow. IEPs and 504. IEPs are individualized educational programs, and they're written statements designed to meet a child's individual needs. Any student that is in a special education class will have an IEP. Teachers with SPED kids would find it beneficial to work closely with their aides, parents, and other persons who could help the student learn. 504s are similar to an IEP, but it's given to a student that doesn't qualify for special education services. Don't cast these students out. Accountability. Educational accountability is when the school system is responsible for the performance of the students. Teacher accountability is when the teacher or administrator can also be personally held responsible for the performance of the student. I do not think that a standardized test should be how we base a teacher's credibility in teaching a class. I think personally that the teacher can hold themselves accountable by realizing the individual growth of their students. A good teacher should take pride in their work, and if they put forth the effort needed to help their students succeed, then everything will turn out as planned.